morning, everyone. I'm Joy, mindfulness teacher at My Science Center. Welcome to this mini AWE session. Let's start with a short mindful breathing exercise. So first of all, adopt a comfortable yet alert posture. Feeling the feet on the floor. If you are sitting on a chair, feel the feet flat on the floor. Then the sit bones on the chair, and lift up your spine but not too stiff. Shoulders dropped, chest open, and slightly tuck in your chin. You may close your eyes or keep your gaze soft in front of you. Start by taking a few natural breaths and gently bring attention to the sensations of the breath in the body. You may choose to focus on the lower abdomen, the belly, or the chest, or the nostrils, whichever point that allows you to feel the breath most. You may feel the rising and falling of the abdominal wall when you breathe in and out, or the chest expanding, deflating, or the cool air coming in through the nostrils and going out from the nostrils as you breathe in and out. So just choose one point in the body that allows you to feel the breath, feel the sensations of the breath most vividly. Just breathe naturally. There's no need to change the breath in any way. Just allow the breath to breathe itself. Just trust the breath will breathe naturally on its own. Feel the ever-changing sensations of the breath in the body, the in-breath, the pause in between, then the out-breath. Then there's a pause in between the out-breath, the next in-breath. Just follow the breath one by one, moment by moment. Remember that we are not only bringing awareness, but with loving and gentle awareness on our breath. So be gentle with yourself. If the mind wanders off, that's perfectly normal. From time to time, the mind may be distracted by thoughts, by sounds, or other distractions. There's no need to judge. There's nothing wrong with it. Just gently acknowledge the wandering mind and bring it back gently but firmly to the chosen focus of the breath. If the mind keeps wandering off, just notice and keep bringing it back to the breath again and again with patience, gentleness, and acceptance. If the mind wanders off, allowing the mind to wander off for a while, then when you feel it's easier to bring it back, just gently bring it back. Just allowing yourself to be fully present with each breath. Feel the full duration of in-breath, the full duration of out-breath. Just let it be. At some point of time, you may wish to expand awareness to include the body as a whole. Again, reconnect with the sensations of feet, the seat, or hands, and the whole body. Feel the whole body sitting here and breathing. The whole body just being here, sitting and breathing. There's nothing to do, nowhere to go. Just being here. Dwelling in this moment, and this moment. Anytime you feel ready, you may gently open your eyes, start to take in whatever is present in your surrounding. You may look around, also open the ears to hear whatever sounds that is present in the here and now. And gently move your body, and this practice. Come back to the session. Yeah, this is the end of this short mindful breathing practice. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, so next to the program, may I invite Professor Kwa Yi-hyuk. Professor Kwa is the Tan Gyok In Professor in Psychiatry and Neuroscience. He's the Senior Consultant Psychiatrist at the Department of Psychological Medicine, Yong Lin School of Medicine, NUS. And he's also our beloved advisor at My Science Center. Professor Kwa, please.
Thank you, May. It's wonderful to see so many of you and so many familiar faces from Queenstown, Yunus, Changkat, Chongpang, Aokang, and it's wonderful. I haven't seen most of you for more than a year now. And I'll try and share my slides with you first. Okay. I thought Joy is the picture of serenity. Look at her doing the mindfulness. It's very, very peaceful. You don't have to go through the stages, but looking at Joy, you feel so serene. So wonderful to have a colleague like Joy. Now, last year, when I spoke to all of you, we were talking about the COVID-19 pandemic and the pandemic of fear. Now, 1 year of fearing, we've now developed a pandemic fatigue and how it affects our mental health. In fact, television, CNA want to have a presentation or discussion on this and for the television. Now, what is the pandemic fatigue that most of us have? And it's a sense of tiredness. You feel tired, and some people complain of insomnia. Yesterday, I saw a patient who owns a restaurant. The F&B people are going through very difficult times, and he told me they got to pay the rent and cannot sleep the whole night thinking about not only themselves but also the workers. Anhedonia is a term which we talk about, and I'm sure when you were doing the lecture on depression, anhedonia means that things that you enjoy before, you sort of lose the zest for it. So I know in the audience is Mr. Han, TK Han. Mr. Han loves to go golfing, I'm told, and if you suddenly play golf and you don't enjoy it anymore, that's called anhedonia, or the food that you enjoy. In the audience is also Professor Vincent Chong. He loves good food, and if he eat his food and he say, I have no more enjoyment, I'm just gobbling my food. That is called anhedonia. That's the beginning of fatigue and of depression. And you see that in Singapore, people are very unhappy, a sense of irritability. They're upset, What is this heightened alertness now? Why is this closed? Those are important. I'm not trying to mouth the politician's opinion, the government's opinion, but it is necessary, unfortunately, or else you're going to spread, But it's a way. Sometimes you look at the WhatsApp group or other groups, Telegram groups, people ventilate this anger, People get very upset, the fatigue. But I tell my friends, besides complaining, what can we do? The most important thing is after complaining, you must do something, all right? So there's something that we can talk about, what are the building up mental resilience. And now there is a new norm. You must acknowledge the new norm. We have to go for your vaccination. There are a lot of resistance. People are unhappy. Social distancing. We would like to meet all of you in NUH in the past, and then we have a nice coffee together but now it's not possible. It's a not new norm is a Zoom. But in a way, the Zoom is more convenient for all of you instead. Instead of traveling all the way from Tampines here, you're sitting at home, the comfort of your home, and even for me, the comfort of my room here, and I'm talking to all of you. So take upon it in a good spirit, the new norm. And also information, make sure you got the right information. And that's where we are now in some serious problem. Besides the pandemic, we have a condition called infodemic, loss of information. We are inundated with information. Some say vaccination is good, and others say vaccination is bad. Some say Pfizer is good, some say Sinopharm is better. Everyone is in a quandary, what shall we do? I always look into the Ministry of Health website, and I think I know they're going through difficult times, but I think that they run through it, and they may sometimes make a little errors here and there. I think it's forgivable. For example, when it first started a year ago, we were told not to wear masks. Remember that? And I told my clinic nurse, I'm going to wear masks. Right? But in general, most of the information that comes from MOH is correct, and they've gone through it. And sometimes I look into the website of our colleagues and all that, and ask from them, what do you think? Should I take the Pfizer, or should I take the Sinopharm? And then you make your own informed consent, and then decide on yourself. But I think reduce it to a few areas, because there are a lot of fake news. And then we must also continue exercise, and I think in the AWE, we taught you different types of exercises. I think it must continue, because it's very important, because if you've known from our studies, exercise do lift up the mood, important, reduces anxiety and depression. Okay, so even your own room can do a static exercise. This morning before this session, I went to cycle to along West Coast Park again and came back quickly. Then the diet itself, very important. I think if you have sleep problem, do not go for alcohol. I've seen a patient referred to me last week with alcohol dependence. Now drinking and drinking and drinking. There's some students going for the exams last month, and they want to keep themselves awake. They drink a lot of coffee, and then they cannot sleep. Then they come to the clinic and say, a doctor, can you give me sleeping pills? And that's not the way. I think what you drink him, I tell you, you drink a cup of coffee, first shot probably in the morning. After that, try to avoid it for a while, caffeine. So the things that you can look up for, I think we have discussed it in the EWE program on diet. Another area that we talk about, the mindfulness, which Joy has done, and there is the picture of our departed friend, Mr. Wee Sin To, and there's also app called MindFi. Check on it. It's a very interesting app to teach people mindfulness practice, and it's done by one of our students here in NUS, and it's going on widely around the world now. In Australia, New Zealand, America. So try on it. And then should have some recreational activities. We taught you people about gardening. I know someone complained to me, I don't have a garden. You can try potted plants. Potted plants, and it's beautiful to see the plants blooming. And yesterday I sent in a picture to my friends. There's a butterfly pea flower, the purple flower they use for kueh and all that, and it bloomed, in my garden. I was so happy to see it. And then singing, I'm hoping that you can maybe a next session show to all of them the video that's done by all of them, that was together with our trainer, Iming. If you haven't seen it yet myself, but I think singing is something that we want to plan. And in this group, we have Dr. Ling Sing Ling, who is going to lead a group on the Rainforest Choir. And this is something that we're going to present to all of you on the 10th of October. So remember, the 10th of October is World Mental Health Day. There will be a release of a video on the rainforest by some of the people, or some of the teachers or lecturers coming together. And we hope, when after this is done, we want to introduce choir singing to all of you. And so So you see, the Age Well Everyday program is not static. It is organic. It is moving all the time. Like in the past, we had just art, music, mindfulness, and exercise. Then we introduced gardening. Then we introduced the rainforest. Now there's also Alistair. There's a new chap will join us called Alistair, and he's full of energy. Normally we hold a webinar like this. We plan for 3 months. But Alistair want to do it in 3 days. He jumped on me 3 days ago and said, let's have a webinar. I said, Alistair, it must take a long time to plan. He said, no, we can do it. So young people coming on board, they're always in a restive mood. So he's going to give you some information about a training on the rainforest program that we're going to get some of you to be trained on how to walk through the rainforest, how to enjoy the rainforest. So you see, the program is moving very fast. In fact, the rainforest program was presented in the World Congress 2 months ago, and people were very excited. So we think that whatever we've done, which is useful, we're going to introduce to the AWE program. And then the last one is the social capital. And social capital is what we are here. And I'm sure all of you really enjoyed, I want to tell you something very interesting. We've done a lot of research in the Jurong area, and some of you have heard our research, And there was something on the singing, there's something on gardening. But when we analyzed the result, we found that minus the singing and mindfulness, the most important factor that gets people together, that helps in terms of your mental health, in terms of resilience, is the group. The group's spirit, the dynamics of the group is very important for our mental health. So we call it social capital. So now in the midst of the pandemic, begin to care for one another. So sometimes your friends are a bit frail and cannot leave the flat. Ask them, can I buy something for you? I'm going to the supermarket. I'll get something. Begin to share. So the success of Singapore in overcoming the pandemic depends a lot on the community, a lot on social capital. We call it the ecology of resilience. The people must come together. If everyone just become very selfish, the whole thing will fail. So coming together, following the rules of wearing masks and social distancing, and then vaccination. Then you find that, and also caring for your other colleagues who are living alone. Then you find that the resilience is good. Then we overcome it, because we are seeing increasing number of seniors. Not only seniors, a lot of young people, even because of the pandemic, they are trapped in the house, isolated. They are more prone to depression and suicidality. So this is very important. And this is my last slide here. The 7 habits to prevent COVID anxiety. Remember the new norm, the information, exercise, the diet, and mindfulness, obviously recreational activities, and social capital. So remember this 7. I think when we are trying to training the trainers, we've also put out these 7 habits for you to remember. Something that is you can grasp and remember. Now there's a nice picture on the slide there. Is someone asked me, Doctor, did you go to Switzerland to take this picture? No, this picture is taken at the Botanic Gardens. When I first came to work in Singapore 40 years ago, I went to walk to Botanic Garden. It was lovely. And this picture was taken 40 years ago. It was at the crack of dawn, the sun shone through, and I was walking to Botanic Gardens and took a picture, with my Pentax camera. It was 40 years ago. And next to this spot is the rainforest. We hope to bring all of you there, and when in the fullness of time, then we can all come together again. So thank you very much. I'll get on to the next speaker. Are there any question first? May, you are the chairperson, the most important person. So you want to ask some questions, or you want to wait till the end?
Yeah, we will have a Q&A session towards the end.
Okay, you think they'll remember this? Well, Alistair will give you a prize. You remember 7 habits to prevent COVID anxiety. So remember it again. It's the short-term memory test. I'm going to ask you again. Thank you very much.
I will take you on a journey today into our newly launched My Art Experiential Lab. So let me share my screen. Okay, so now we are in My Art Experiential Lab, also known as MayLab, and it is initialized by My Science Center. So currently the exhibition is open for viewing, but today I will show you the virtual tour instead. So MayLab is an innovative space for the discovery of creative and integrative intervention through art, mindfulness, and transdisciplinary research to promote mental wellness and enhance the quality of mind. So in MayLab, there is also a My Gym. So My Gym is housed in MayLab. It is a contemplative space to cultivate mental fitness and provide training and learning of mindfulness-based intervention as informed by research to improve cognitive function and strengthen mental resilience. So this exhibition is our inaugural exhibition, and it is themed Arts, Mindfulness, and the Aging Brain. And it showcases exciting mix of artworks from the community as well as a My Body Space Connection exhibition. So it explores the link between mental wellness and arts. And when our visitors come into MayLab, we want them to take ownership of their emotional and cognitive well-being as they walk through the entire exhibition. So now I will take you inside further. So there are several components to MayLab. Today I will talk about the research part, and then the next session we can see the artworks. So first part here, it talks about the aging brain. So what does aging do to your brain? So aging causes common neurodegenerative disease, including Alzheimer's disease, and it causes changes to your brain size, vasculature, and cognition. And our brain shrinks with increasing age. So there are changes to all levels from molecules to morphology. So it is estimated that there are 46 million people worldwide will develop dementia, and the number is expected to triple by the year 2050. So some of the early signs of mild cognitive impairment is forgetfulness and memory lapse, language problems, disorientation in time, impaired sense of direction, personality or mood change, and lastly, executive impairment. So over here at MayLab, we want to show you that a healthy life, both physically and mentally, will be the best defense against the changes of an aging brain. So we move off to the next activity. So this activity, I will pause here for a second so y'all can take a picture if y'all want. Otherwise, if y'all don't manage to take it, the virtual tour will be uploaded on our website, and then you can play it yourself after that as well. So this activity is called a self-administered gyro cognitive exam, and is used by art therapists to detect early signs of cognitive, memory, or thinking impairments. So the instructions here is you start from 1, you end at F. So you are supposed to alternate between numbers and alphabets. So for example, 1 to A to 2, 2 to B, and so on. Okay. So I'll move on to the next slide. Okay, so over at this big wall here, you can see that it is a huge wall with many plates of stuff. So this is actually a research study done by our research team. So here we want to prove that art enhances cognitive functioning. And in this study, we have done it over a period of 9 months with a group of seniors. So we brought them to National Gallery Singapore, as you can see from the images here. And they do activities such as art appreciation, and we give them materials to create drawings, collages, or clay. And then they share their thoughts and feelings on their artwork guided by the art therapist. And after the end of the entire study, it proves that they have increased cortical thickness of the middle frontal gyrus. So to put it simply, art therapy can improve mental functions even among those with mild cognitive impairment. So these improvements are supported by the observable changes in the brain. Okay, so now we move on to this activity. So this is an activity that we tied up with this company called Savonics, and they came up with this online assessment tool called Digital Therapeutics. So it is an evidence-based therapeutic intervention, and there are 5 games in it. So these games are used to test your memory, your concentration, and your thinking functions. So I can give the link at the end of my session in the chat, and then all of you can play it yourself at home, and all you need is a phone number or an email address to sign up for an account. And then next, I move on to the next research paper. So this research wants to prove that chorale singing helps to improve cognitive health in aging. So just now, Prof. Kwa said that you all will have some chorale singing activity in the future. So this research study wants to prove that that will help to improve your mental well-being. So this study is done over a period of 2 years, and the participants are broken up into 2 groups where they take chorale singing as well, and the other group take health education program. So throughout the 2 years, it has shown that the chorale singing is a safe and enjoyable activity for the promotion of cognitive health in aging, and everybody loves singing. So singing makes them happy as well as music. And over here, you can see an infographics that we did to show that music is soothing, helps to reduce the perception of pain, also has the power to improve your state of mind. And we move on to our very last exhibit called the tea drinking session. So this, if any one of you are a fan of tea drinking, then you should know that that will benefit you throughout your life. So this research study wants to prove that tea drinking has benefit on cognitive health, and this study has been done with 15 and 21 participants. So they are broken up into a tea drinking group and non-tea drinking group, and they fill out a questionnaire to show their tea drinking frequencies. So the result shows that the individual who consumed either green tea, oolong tea, or black tea at least 4 times a week for about 25 years had brain regions that were interconnected in a more efficient way. And then we move on to this very special section, and it shows that the different tea benefits on your health. So if you like green tea, it will be good for your liver. If you like white tea, it will be good for your lung. If you like yellow tea, it will be good for your stomach and spleen. So it's the same for oolong tea. And if you like red tea, it will be good for your heart. And lastly, if you like black tea, it will be good for your kidney. Yeah. So I've come to the end of this part, and I will paste the link into the chat. Later, y'all can save it, and then I'll pass it on to the next speaker, Peter. Thank you, everyone.
So Peter Yeo, he's a former senior lecturer at the School of Film and Media Studies, Ngee Ann Polytechnic, specializes in digital photography. Peter has more than 28 years of teaching experience in creative digital arts such as videography, computer 3D animation, and digital photography imaging, and he has received numerous awards. It's my pleasure to have Peter here today with us. Peter, the floor is yours.
Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you today. I'm new to everyone. Nice to hear that just now Professor Kwok mentioned about some recreation activities. I hope this one can be one of the new recreation activities for everyone. All right, so today we're going to start with the part 1. Take great photo with your smartphone. Can everyone hear me? No problem? Is it clear?
Yes, very good.
Clear. Thanks.
Okay, first of all, before we talk about handphone photography, we want to have a right concept of handphone photography, right? Why we must have a right concept? The thing is, handphone photography is a bit different from handphone photo taking, right? So usually we are talking about handphone photo taking. That means not working. Okay. Direct photo taking has to be documented. Usually that's what been done, right? We've come to a place we realize that scenery very interesting, so we just take the picture without any thinking or without any preparation. So we just take it. So I will call it as documentary. As for handphone photography, it's a bit different because it involves with at least 3 different aspects: photo techniques, aesthetics, and technical skill. Then you will wonder, what is photo techniques, aesthetic, and technical skill? Photo techniques, we're talking about how do you place your camera, whether you're placing the left, the right, close to the subject, further away from the subject, and which direction. So you must capture the shots in the right way. So that is photo techniques. Aesthetic components, we need to know some of the composition elements and design concepts. In other words, you need to know what to focus on and how to compose your shots. And this part I will not cover today, but hopefully next sessions we can add on. And last but not least, technical skills. Technical skills, that is camera technical functions and lighting. You must know what are the technical features in your camera or your handphone, and how do you make use of lights. Okay, for today, we want to have some understanding of common mistakes when you're taking picture, and hopefully we get some tips on that. Okay, first of all, we need to know our handphone, our smart handphone, actually there's a built-in device called optical image stabilization. And this optical image stabilization, OIS, is to help you to stable your camera. So whenever you're taking a camera, they won't get blur. But the thing is, sometimes the lighting condition is very bad. All right. So your camera, if not a very good built-in stabilizations, then the shot will not be clear. So very important is the first step is hold your handphone steadily. All right. That is the first step you need to know. Of course, these days, a lot of things you can work on. Besides using use the handphone, we call it selfie. We like to take ourselves. Wherever we go, we like to take ourselves. And also we have a friend, we take together with a friend, right? Rivi. And we also add on a self-stick. And this self-stick can be manual operation or motorized or remote control, right? Very versatile. Okay, but one thing is, remember, when you are doing self-stick, don't do this. This is too dangerous. Can be very interesting scenery, but don't do this. Recently, there's what came in the news. I think it's a movie star. She took a picture of this at a click, and she fell down and dead. Okay, let's look at these two pictures. The top one and the second one. Can you recognize the difference? Right. Obviously, if you look at the picture, the first one, the horizon is slanted. All right. So that is no good. We call it distracting. So whenever you can, the first thing in mind, you must keep the horizon straight. Okay, so whenever possible, if I any beach, offshore, wherever, always keep your horizon straight. Yeah? Like for instance, a friend of mine, she sent me this picture of the sunset. You know, this day a lot of people went for sunset shots, and these shots looks interesting to me. But there's a little thing that you can do. That is the horizon become slanted, right? So I do a little bit of editing and make it straighten, and it looks better now. You look at the crowd, look at the sunset, everything looks good. So first thing, keep the horizon straight. Yeah. So whenever possible, whether you are inside the building, outside the building, right? Keep the horizon straight, vertically as well as horizontally. Okay, next, something you need to avoid when you're taking photo. What are they? If you look at this picture, these are disproportionate. You see, you notice the head and the body, it seems a bit improportionate, all right? So be careful about that. How to avoid this problem? You know, I would say most of the problem is because you are taking too close to the talent. And especially sometimes if the camera person is very tall, then likely you'll capture the head first. So what should you do? All right. So what you have to do is just lower your camera, just aim up to an angle, right? Like the one on the left is like a normal angle, or actually is aiming down. Like the one on the right actually is aiming up. So it looks much better and with different effects. Another problem, you need to be careful. These are appropriate shots. Right, look at the background of this Malayans. It looks great, but the person in front looks so small. So they are disproportionate, right? So what you should do, the subject and the background need to be balanced. So what you should do, you just have to get closer to the subject, or ask the subject get closer to the camera, right? Then you get both. Another thing you need to be aware is the background. Will the background complement the subject or distracting? That is another thing you need to pay attention. So the lamp pole, it looks like going on top of the person's head. All right. Same thing. Recently, we have this Zoom meeting. All right. We have a very nice setup view of this person's house, have a sea view, but unfortunately, the plant is growing from his head. So it looks very strange. All right. So what we have a tips for today. One, hold your handphone steadily because your handphone may have some blur effect. Another second thing is align your picture horizontally and vertically. Right? In fact, if next week you're going to be here, we'll tell you more about how to align the slanted shots. All right. 3, avoid disproportionate shots, including head and body. Right? Don't make the head too big, the body too small, or the subject and the background, they are not in proportionate. It means they are make the subject too small and the background too big. Last but not least, beware of background. Right? Make sure the background is complement to the subjects with no merger. Once the subject with this distracting background, we call merger. So make sure that there's no merger. All right. So this will be our last slide, and hopefully next part 2, will be on the 14th of August. All right. So we have a second sessions about this again. Hopefully I'll see you again. Thank you very much for your attention.
Okay, so next you heard of Kwa mentioned we have a new colleague, Mr. Lester Chen. So I will let him introduce himself to all of us.
Hi everyone. Yeah, so hi, I'm Lester. As everyone introduced me, I just joined Mind Science Center about a month ago. So I'm in charge of the H4 Everyday program, where I help to organize activities for seniors like yourself and a webinar that we're all gathered here today. So some things about me, a short intro is that I just graduated from National University of Singapore in US, where I major in life science, biology, and some hobbies that I like to do is that I actually picked up gardening because of a past internship that I did with NParks. So actually I have one small plant here, I don't know where you can see. So begonia, and yeah, I specialize in begonias and orchids. Yeah, they're easy to keep at home. Right. So if you have any queries about AWE, you can like as seen in the slide, you can just contact us at our email, or if any information that you'd like to look up for on Mind Science Center and AWE itself, you can look up at our website and as well as our Facebook page. So perhaps this I should take a chance to to share with you some of the upcoming initiatives that we're looking to plan for you guys. So first is our AWE learning. We currently have the new Module 7 Teaching and Facilitation module for for those of you who would like to become full-fledged AWE instructors. So for those who have already completed the modules 1 to 6, do not worry. We will also be looking to allow you to take the module 7 so that you will not have to be you will not invalidate your status as a instructor. We also have several individual modules that are now available, so you can sign up for individual modules individually for those who would like to just take one module for your own knowledge. Yeah. Next, we also have AWE e-learning translated into Mandarin. So these are for modules 1 to 6, and you can look up for more information at our AWE at our SUSS portal. Next, as mentioned earlier on by Peter, is handphone photography workshop. We are actually doing a workshop at May Lab at Alexandra Hospital on the 27th of August at the end of the next month. Yeah. So this is for our volunteer leaders, and we'll be currently for our volunteer leaders only. But we'll be a pilot. Then we'll see, and we'll look to organize these programs so that you can all of you can take part and learn how to take photographs with your smartphones. Next, we have our therapeutic rainforest program. We are actually looking to start it in November, and we will begin our volunteer training for our current AWE instructors. For those of you who would like to learn how to do mindful walking in nature places such as our rainforest in Singapore. And lastly, we also have the Train the Trainer workshop that we're looking to begin in November. And this is for our current AWE instructors who would like to take the chance to become a AWE trainer. Yeah. And that's all for me.
So on behalf of My Science Center and our presenters, thank you for joining us today, and have a blessed weekend and stay well.